Today at our Montana homestead here in FS25, the snow is gone and it's planting season. Today we've got alfalfa to rake and corn to plant. Let's go. You can find a link to this playlist in the description below, or check the channel page for other farming series you might like. Hey guys, welcome back to our Montana homestead here in FS25. Just now coming to the store to pick up some equipment. It's April now here on our homestead farm on the 4X map of Judith Plains, Montana. It's a great place. It's so it's April now. We're going to be doing planting. Today we're here first to pick up some grass equipment. Let's hop out here. So I picked us up a windrower and a tedder. We're going to head out to the farm here in a minute. I'll show you what we've been doing and what we will be doing this April. So if you recall our farm, we've got an alfalfa field out back. Well, it was finally ready to cut. You know, this is our first spring here. So our grass was ready to cut. I got us a windrower and a tedder, and we're here to pick up a baler as well. Yeah, we don't have any of this. You know, we started off with our little homestead with such few equipment. We only had just a few things. Whoa, why is everyone here? Look at this. What's wrong with the people out here? They're all standing in awe of the forklift. Okay, I know what it is. So I got this forklift for the map, and I parked it here. It's handy to have a forklift at a shop in case you need to unload or load something. So I just parked it there. Well, apparently it's in the way of some NPC, AI pathing. But it looks like some scene in a movie with like aliens or something. They're just like standing here like in awe of this. I don't know. It's weird. Here, let me move it so that they'll move, because it's disturbing me. It's disturbing me. Let's just move this up. There you go, guys. You can now pass. All right. I just parked it over there because yeah. So anyway, let's get back to this. We need to get us a baler. Now, we got some money. This stuff wasn't free, of course. Made a lot of money from contracts. The contracts here on the map pay pretty well. This guy here costs, I don't know, about maybe 9,000. This costs about 19,000. So that was like half our money right here buying these. We need to buy a baler, and I've got one for us here. I love this baler. I've used this in previous playthroughs. I think I used this baler back in FS20. Yeah, I did. I used the same baler back in FS22. This must be someone's remade the mod for FS25. I just love this. This has been a go-to baler of mine. It's an affordable square baler. It's an affordable square baler, and I just like it. So that's most of our money gone. So now we got some grass equipment to get back to our farm. All this stuff's going to come in handy. We've been doing a lot of contracts and stuff like that. It's a great way to make money, and now we've got some of our own tools that we can use. There's still so many more tools we need for our farm. And I mean, our farm is just starting out, but we've got some very important stuff here that we've been needing. We do have a planter to plant our, corn is what we're going to be planting. We're going to work on planting corn today, probably. We're also going to be working on our grass some. I've already mowed it. We did have the mower. That's one thing we did have. We now have this stuff. Now, I brought out the trailer because... yeah, we want to see if we can get this. If I can get two of these things on the trailer at once. Had I not brought the loader, I could have put the tedder on the front of the machine and pulled the windrower behind. Yes. Can I see to drive? Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah. Well, you see, I could load the tedder and the windrower onto the trailer, but that'd be, I don't know, it'd be hard to load them on there. It would take time, and the effect would be the same. We have both pieces of equipment. Let's go. Let's get these back. I can't get all three anyway. We'll just leave our trailer here, I guess, for now. This is good. So it's a little awkward carrying all this, but it's good that we can take two things back at once. Let's get back to the farm. It's a few minutes down the road here to our farm. We've got, what else are we doing? Well, we're going to plant our corn and work on our grass some. There's definitely work there to do. Oh, there is one more thing. I built our silo on the farm. We have a silo. It's a start. It's a start to what will be the farm silos. It's just one. We got one flat bottom bin. Let's get back there to the farm and I'll show you around. Look at this, driving down the road back here, and the fields are green. It's nice because past few episodes it's been dark and dreary and snowy. Yeah, yeah, we had that huge blizzard. In fact, I think that was the last episode, wasn't it? We had that huge blizzard. Yeah, it dropped a bunch of snow. I forgot to even bring you up to date on that. We got like over a foot of snow last month, February or March. I kind of forget now. We had a ton of snow, and that was the last episode. We had to wait until April for the snow to even clear up. So, yeah, for the first time now, we're seeing, well, except for this field here, everything out here is green and growing everywhere. Coming up here on the right is our wheat field, which is looking good. But yeah, the last time you saw things, we were buried in snow. We were selling our grain, which is the only thing we really did over the winter. And you can see our silo back there. It's the one thing you can see. Our farm is not much yet, but we've got a silo up here to the left. That's where we're going to be planting our corn. I might want to... I've got the field right up against the road here, which looks cool, but it's going to get trampled as we drive up and down the road. I might want to consider realistically cutting that field back a little bit, but we still have our tiny little house. I have not... That said, I do have an option. I did. Yeah, you know what? Let's stop here real quick. Did I install that yet? Yeah, I did get us a house that we could build. This little guy right here, this trailer. It's pretty nice. It's really cheap, but I think it works, and I would love to replace our tiny house with that once we can afford it. All right, so got our alfalfa field back here. That is all mowed. Ran our... with our little tiny mower, but it did pretty good. Well, it's not that small, but yep. So this is all ready, and I figured we don't have a use for the hay just yet, but I figured let's turn it into alfalfa hay. If you've never worked with alfalfa, well, it's grass. You just treat it just like grass, basically. Just treat it just like grass. And of course, alfalfa is not a default fruit in Farming Simulator. It's gonna be... I mean, it never has been. Anytime you see alfalfa, it's a custom crop, for a map. But every map I've ever seen it on, it works the exact same way. It's a grass, so you treat it just like grass. So FYI, and I actually have, as it happens, I have a video here on the channel on dealing with alfalfa. It's going to be the same on any map that has it. You just treat it like grass, so FYI. That said, yeah, we're going to turn it into hay. Same process as grass. Don't have any animals yet, but we will have animals. So in the meantime, just parking our windrower back here. Oh, let's go check out our silo. Yeah, here, let's pick up our tedder. And so here's our silo up here. I thought a bit about the placement, and I said, well, yeah, I put it where it's at because we're going to want to build more silos around it. It's a flat bottom bin. The way that I'm doing the silos here, we're just going to store one crop in each silo. I don't want to mix it. Oh, yeah, so this we're going to want to do something with because I ran the mower through this, so this will regrow. Here's what I did. I went up to the road and I said, where do I want the driveway for the silo to be, right? So I just hooked up the mower and just mowed this to kind of visualize where the trucks would go, to pick up and drop off at the silo. And then I looked at the space that we had left and said, okay, where do we want to place these? Now, I'm only going to store one type of product per silo since it's a flat bottom bin. It's just one big tank. I think I could put multiple things in here, but that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just going to store one per tank. So we'll have several silos out here. It'll look cool. So we're starting off with this one. It's just, flat bottom bin. Holds, wait, how much does it hold? It holds 500,000 liters. We still got these temporary ones back here that we had the sorghum in. We will get rid of these. Well, probably, though we don't have to. They were cheap and they're meant to be temporary, but they're effective. For the meantime, we have these back here in case we need to store more than one thing. We've got these back here. And then, so let's get our, well, we already got the tedder hooked up. We're gonna make hay while the sun's shining, and then we're gonna get to planting some corn. Got a planter. I don't know if we had it last time or not. Oh, look, here's the last snow left over from our blizzard. It's right here. That's because it, weird thing, that was in the bucket of the tractor. See, the snow melted, but for whatever reason, yeah, that was in the bucket of the tractor. I dumped it out, and so thus, I guess it's taking more time to melt. I don't know. I don't know if we had a planter last time or not. If we didn't, well, I bought one. I bought a planter. Contracts here made making money pretty easy. I mean, things are not free, but money comes pretty easy doing big contracts, so long as you're willing to put in a lot of work. I mean, yeah, like some of these contracts pay really well. Like, see, here's a $40,000 contract. Sure, if you want to fertilize a 23-hectare field, you know, like some of these contracts pay really well. There was even a contract a month or so ago that paid $90-some thousand. Now, I didn't do it. It would have taken me literally all day in real life to do. That's the thing. These fields here, there are fields here that are over 30 hectares, maybe close to 50. If you're American and you want to know how big that is, just times that by 2.5, thereabouts, and that's how many acres it is. That's big. Let me turn this off real quick. Move this tractor. There's big fields here. So the contracts, a lot of these contracts pay really, really well, but they're absurdly huge. And it's one of the reasons I'm running this game. If you look up in the upper right hand corner, you see I'm running it in 1x time scale. The point is, there's some really good paying contracts here, but it also requires a huge time investment. So let's get the headlands of this field done here. And we're going to have us a lot of hay, I guess. Well, it depends how many bales we get. But I'm kind of inclined just to save it, just stack it over there by our shed. First of all, it'll be a nice aesthetic to the farm, you know, get our first stacks of hay bales, but also we're going to need it at some point. Can't hurt to have hay laying around. And, well, hay we can sell any time of year. Sorry, my GPS kept deactivating there. I don't know if you heard all the beeping. It kept... Yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, you know, hay sells basically the same price any time of year, so it can't hurt to have some stacks of hay bales laying around. Well, this is going a lot faster than the mowing. Well, the mower is not this wide. I don't know how wide the mower is, but this is a lot better. The mower took a lot of passes, but I'm looking at this now, and we only have a few passes to make up and down this field. Yeah, the mower was a fair afternoon's work. This is, well, good. We got us some good tools here. They're pretty nice. They'll help us get this done fast. That's good, because we got to get out to the corn planting. Our next order of business is we need to get a harvester. That's right. Okay, so the main thing we want to think about is the harvester. That's like the main thing. This is all just, and I'll tell you why here in a second. This right here, this is nothing. This is just tending our little farm, our little 22-acre farm, right? We got the 2 wheat fields. We're about to have 2 corn fields, and we got this on our relatively small 22-acre plot of land. Small when you look at the other farms around here. The reason the harvester is going to be big for us is because the way that we're working the rules here with the homestead, in that when we do contracts, we can take whatever contract we want, we can use their tools if we want, but we have to use our own machine to pull the tools. So that means I've not been able to take any harvesting contracts because we don't have our own harvester. Once we have our own harvester, obviously we can harvest our own crop, but also then we'll be able to do harvesting contracts, make more money, etc. So the harvester is going to be a pretty big deal. But it's also a big purchase that we're going to have to lease, because we're not going to have the money for it. You know, we're not going to have the money for it. So we're going to have to, when I say lease, I mean like finance it. Yeah, we'll have to finance a harvester. Yeah, I know which one. I've already had a look at it. I showed you this a few episodes ago. I think the best bang for the buck is this one right here. At $300,000. That's big enough. It's big enough, powerful enough. It can push any size header. It's got an okay size grain tank, and it can push any size header. It's big enough to be able to do that. And it's right at the price point where it's a little more expensive than some of them, but, you know, like the next step up in price is really big. So it's kind of really the best bang for the buck. Anyway, We need to be able to finance that guy. I don't know. There's many options for that. Like we could finance it with the financing mod that we have. You could finance it for 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, depending on, you know, how big of payments we can make. It could be a commitment of like, I don't know, 25 grand or so a month. So that's going to be a commitment to, yeah, we got to make X amount of money per month so we don't default on that. We're not making any payments on anything else right now. This tractor was, but we paid it off. So as of right now, we don't owe anything. We're free and clear. And of course, also with the Homestead Challenge rules that we're doing, we're not taking any. There's no loans allowed. Yeah, no loans are allowed. Only vehicle financing, which I think is realistic. I was going to go ahead and plant the corn after I ran the tedder here, but maybe we'll just go ahead and windrow it. We've got a good windrower. It's bigger than this even, so it'd be really quick. It's quick to use. I like to use it a lot. I like this kind of windrower. It's just like a big old-fashioned rake. I like it a lot. It's the same price as, yeah, it's the same price and size as the in-game windrower of the comparable size. But I like it because it's the old-fashioned, just kind of rake style. It doesn't run off the PTO or anything. You just pull it behind your machine and it just rakes up the grass. I think it's cool. All right, just a couple more passes with the tedder here, and this will all be done. That's a pretty day out here. Definitely a lot better weather than in the last episode. And our farm's coming along too. You know, looking out here with that silo there, we got our machine shed back there. We just need, slowly, we'll get some more buildings set up here. Our farm will it'll start looking more like a farm here at some point. Maybe some fences and other stuff. Yeah, you know, I never built fences at the farms. Maybe we'll put some nice farm touches here on this one. All right, and one last run up the field for our hay tedding here. Actually, it took a little longer than I thought. It looked like it was going to be really quick, and it was, but there we go. So anyway, we'll run this down here. May as well go ahead and run the windrower. The windrower is even bigger than this. It should go pretty quick. Or we could check out have a look at our corn planting. Well, let's get this done and out of the way first. Yeah, we'll go grab our new windrower and put that to use here. I keep seeing this. I forgot this. I got this tool out here. I keep driving by and seeing it. I haven't put that in the shed yet. It's it's like basically like a bag lifter for our front loader. Got to remember that's over there. And next time, well, actually, why don't we just here, I'll drop off this manure fork, and then next time we're over there, we'll grab it. That way it's not sitting out there. Here, let's leave this here. We use this more, so let's leave this where we can easily get to it. When I was buying the windrower, I had it painted to match our tractor. Yeah, I just not something I usually ever do, but I have taken the opportunity on the tools that we have that had the option to paint. I did take the opportunity to paint them to match the Fendt green and red. I think it's kind of cool. All right, so this windrower, I like this guy here because I was gonna say it's non-powered. I mean, it's powered in that it folds out, but other than that, it just runs off of friction. So you just drop it and get to work. Wait, why didn't it go down? There we go. Yep, you just drop it and get to work. There's no turning it on or anything such as that. I like it. It's nice and simple. Let's get this done here. Nice old-fashioned tools. And then, well, later on, well, of course, you know, we've got our new baler down at the store. We'll have to go down there and get our new baler. Look at this. We've got hay ready to pick up on our alfalfa field. Yeah, we got alfalfa hay. I wonder how that sells in comparison to regular hay. It might sell for more because it's a special crop. I don't know. And this is, yeah, so this is also our first year here. Now, of course, right, it's our first spring. We just came here last August. Haven't quite been here a year yet. And, well, as I mentioned earlier, and as you may well know, again, alfalfa is a custom crop. On any map you see it on, it's a custom crop. Thus, it could work different on different maps, you know. So I assuming, because it is grass, because it's a type of grass, I'm assuming it'll regrow on its own. I actually don't know. Yeah, I just cut it this month. I'm assuming it'll regrow and we don't have to replant it. Should. But yeah, I can't know for sure because it's a custom crop. Oh yeah, and this month, I just remind myself, I got to remember again, right there where I've mowed. I mowed out that path to the silo. We need to put dirt or something there. Just because I got it nice, I got a nice path carved out. I like to use the mower to do stuff like that, to kind of visualize it, and also, well, I hold the mower behind me, so I know it'll be a good path to the silo because I already, you know, had to drive it to make it. It was a natural driving path for the tractor. So I wouldn't want to preserve that. I'll just make sure to put dirt down there. Yeah, so I figure we'll have cows, maybe. Oh, I mean, I want to have animals on the farm. What's a farm without animals, right? I think we should have cows. I like to have cows. If you watch the channel here, you see most all of our farms end up having cows on them, but I think cow is a good farm animal. That said, I don't know. There's other options. We could have sheep. Yeah, you know, I know. It's true. I never have anything else. Well, kind of. We had pigs on our farm in Baldacan. I missed that map. If that map ever gets remade for FS25, or that I'm aware of, I just ran into this. Here, let's go grab this. Drop our rake here, and let's grab this. I'll have to see. I'll have to look and see if that map. That was my favorite. That was by far, I think. Not only my favorite, but I think the best Russian map for farming simulator was Baldacan. It was just the most beautiful, just best overall. I'll have to see if I can find it for FS25, if anyone's remade it or anything like that. But anyway, on that farm, back in FS22, I remember having pigs. I don't think we got them till like a good way into the series. I don't really remember. That was, well, I don't know. It was at least a year ago. I scarcely remember that series. But anyway, we usually only have cows. Oh, darn. I have to reset this because I disconnected the thing. Anyway, though, cows are a good bet. I like to have cows. Maybe we can have something else in addition to. Maybe we can have pigs too. I never have pigs. I think it's just because I always gravitate toward things that cows like, such as grass and hay, and I like making TMR and stuff like that, but I never got into pig feed because I don't usually farm the kind of crops that they eat. That said, we can buy pig food. We don't have to make it. You know, I get in this thing where I like to try to be, like, I guess you could say green. You know, I like the farms. I like when we can produce the things that we need on the farm. I think that's just the coolest way to run a farm. But it's not necessary. We can obviously buy pig food. We don't have to grow our own sugar beets or whatever we want to make into pig food. Because I've never been a fan of root crop harvesting. But then again, that's another option for the farm. We could do root crops and have pigs, and either way, you know, these are all great ideas. I'm thinking of them like, wow, you know, these are all good ideas. It all sounds like fun. I guess for now, we're just going to bale up our hay and go from there. Just got a couple more passes here, and we'll have all of this ready to rake up, or sorry, ready to bale up. Yeah, it's a pretty, I like this windrower. It's pretty decent for stuff like this. And I like the simplicity of it. Old-fashioned tools are fun. I think we could do one more run. I think right there to the right of the tractor, I think there's, well, on the tractor's right side, I think those windrows are close enough that we could combine those into one. Though I think we're technically done. You can always kind of, you know, make it a little easier to get with the baler. Let's see here. Yeah, these two windrows here. We can run these two together. Save us a run down the field with the baler. yeah, we're ready to go plant corn. Let's get this down here to the end of the field, and we'll pull out our corn planter. I haven't used it yet. I guess I must have bought it. I must have bought it in between these last 2 episodes because I don't remember showing you guys our corn planter. Haven't used it yet. We're gonna go get that hooked up. Let's get this stuff parked back in the barn. So we've got this bag lifter here on the front. We're gonna put this. Well, first, wait. Let me get this parked, put away. We're gonna drop off our front attachment, and we'll grab our planter here. Let's get this stuff parked in the barn. Don't need this for a couple months. Let's put this back here. There we go. And let's park this bag lifter for now. You know, we don't need this front loader on here at all, actually. Yeah, let's just park our front loader. All right, now, for our corn planter, yeah, well, it's sitting right here. If you didn't see it, it's literally sitting right here. I think this is a mod. I'm actually not sure, but it's one I've used before. I don't... Anyway, but this is our corn planter. Now, we're going to get this... I have no idea. Okay, yeah, it does have fertilizer. Good. Okay, I got it filled up. Now, to use this guy, we're going to want to drop off this right here. We don't need this attachment. That's only to pull it. If you've never used this one, again, I think it might be a mod. If it's not, I don't know, but we don't need this attachment. That's just to pull it. All right, actually, something I forgot. Before we attach, before we break this off, I think we need to go ahead and unfold this. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I forgot about that. You got to unfold it that way while this side is still attached. Now we can drop that off. Okay, now we can drop that off. There we go. Yeah, I had to go back and grab this. I was like, wait a second, I still can't pull the planter. This one's a little complicated because it's 2 pieces. Now we're done with that. Well, it's a cool way to transport it, though. I mean, it's a very efficient planter because it's, you know, it doesn't require, yeah, it doesn't require that it be folded up to transport it. You just transport it long ways. All right, so it's ready to go. It's got some room for fertilizer, and we've got some fertilizer sitting here. All right, well, there we go. All right, guys, we are ready to plant our corn. Ready to plant corn. Let's see what our field layout looks like here. And there we go. This is planting corn and fertilizing. It's laying down the first stage of fertilizer. So next month, we'll come through and we'll fertilize this again, and all our fields will be ready and good to go. This is cool. Getting some... Yeah, now we're getting the... Well, we were doing farm work. In fact, we were doing real solid farm work, but now... It's all farm work. Okay, well, I was going to say that now we're doing some real farm work, but then I remembered, well, yeah, but we were just working with hay. What's more farm-oriented than hay? So, we're planting corn now, though. Getting some stuff planted in the ground, running an actual big machine, and these fields are long. It's a long field. Yeah, we got a big front yard. It's easy to forget that working back there in the back in our alfalfa field. It's easy to forget, oh yeah, you know, we do have 22 acres total. Our total property is 22 acres. We've got some front yard here to work with. Yeah, let's get our headlands here out of the way so that we're not interrupting the traffic anymore. I'm going to run this across both fields to get it straightened out here. Kind of messed up the backing job a little bit. We're going to run this across both fields at once so we can knock out our headland, which is actually a pain because they do count as different fields. So, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not mind the GPS. I'm just going to keep going straight. Yeah. It's going to flick over into the other field and do something or not. Let's keep the tractor straight. And this is where, yeah, I really need to have more of a boundary for these fields. We don't want to trample our wheat. Yeah, you know, that's true. It looks cool having the fields right up to the road like this, but now it creates a real problem. Yeah, it creates a real problem in that I'm trying not to trample our wheat. Well, we can always, I can cut that field back a bit off the road. Heck, we can reconfigure all these fields entirely. We can do anything we want. We might just do something about that. But this will get our headlands done, so we don't have to go back near the road again. These fields are going to look good. I'm going to love watching this corn grow up here in our front yard. It's going to be really cool. So we got half wheat, half corn. That'll keep us busy all year, you know. Our wheat should be ready to harvest, what, August probably? Here in a couple months, and then once we get done with it, we'll have the corn to work with. Well, this is going a lot quicker than the wheat planting. That, yeah, we got a much bigger planter than our seeder. Our seeder is really, we just have the basic 3-meter wide seeder, and I'll tell you, it was a long job planting that wheat. This is going a lot faster here. How wide is this thing exactly? This is 6.5 meters wide. Yeah, this is going a lot. All of this is done pretty quick. And then for the rest of the month, it's all going to be about working on contracts. We want to make enough money so that we can finance that harvester. It's not a rush. There's no rush on it because the soonest we'll be able to use it is, well, probably August, right? It's probably the soonest we can use it. But we'll be using it a lot. It's going to get a lot of use, not only on our farm, but I'll probably be taking every harvest contract I can with it. There's a lot of good paying contracts here in Judith Plains, Montana. And as you've seen, if you haven't seen, I'll pull this up. There are some big fields here as well. Big fields. I mean, like, yeah, ginormous fields here. There's going to be lots of harvesting opportunity. And the harvester I want to get, it's the best bang for our buck. And the thing is, it's big enough. Let's find a good row here. Well, hang on. I think that turned off my... Darn it, I like to run without the stupid lines on. I find them mostly unimmersive, but sometimes it doesn't want to... Yeah, I could tell it wasn't going to want to run right there. There we go. There we go. Okay. That's set. So, the harvester we're buying, right? I already went through why I think it's a good one. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Well, it'll be big enough that it'll be able to run the biggest header imaginable. I mean, maybe not. I don't know if it could run a 60-foot header, but it could run a 12, 14 meter even, most likely. The point is, it should be able to run any size header, which means every field will look the same to that machine. It's a big machine. It'll be able to harvest on any field. So contract-wise, we could take on any contract. No contract would be too big for the harvester. See, like when I take contracts, this is our tractor. I got to watch that, you know, when we do contracts, we can use their equipment, but we got to use our tractor. So I got to watch that, say I take a cultivating contract, right? And let's say, yeah, I got to take one with a cultivator that this tractor could run. This tractor only has 260 horsepower. The point is the harvester the sky's the limit. It could harvest anything. So now, we won't have the biggest header for ours, though. It'll be able to push the biggest header there is, probably, but we won't have the biggest one for it, no, because those are expensive. In fact, we should start keeping an eye out now for, like... Okay, that's kind of small, though. That's too small, but yeah. Well, there is that. Okay, so there is the thing that headers are expensive. 11 grand for a header. Now, that would be big enough for our little farm. To be fair. Yeah. Well, I just kind of thought. Now, a Rostelmash header. We already had that issue. I had that issue in the, like, one of the first episodes. It was like one of the very first episodes when we were harvesting the sorghum that was planted here, and we didn't have a harvester, so we had to rent one. And that must have been the first episode, because before we could even build our farm. Yeah, because this was, if you recall, this was all one big sorghum field, and we had to harvest the sorghum before we could even build our farm here. We had to rent a harvester, and I rented a Rostelmash harvester, but then I tried to use a different header with it. It didn't want to. I think that was a special case because, well, what I mean by that is not every harvester goes with every header. So I wouldn't want to buy a header that wouldn't go with the harvester. It could just be me, but I think the thing there was Rostelmash. This could just be me. But it seems to me that across all the thousands of hours of Farming Simulator I've played, it seems, and all the mods I've used, or the countless mods I've used, it seems that Rostelmash harvesters have like a lower mount for the header. Like, I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's something that I've noticed, and it could have been a particular set of Rostelmash mods. It could be anything, but I've seen it before, and that was the problem. Where, if you recall back to like the first episode, let me get this started on this row here. Make sure we're planting. Yeah, that we mismatched the wrong header with that Rostelmash harvester, and the header was too low. Anyway, that's hard to explain, like what I mean there, but this header, maybe, especially since it's a mod, maybe we should just use it with the machine it goes with. And let's see if can I demonstrate what I mean? Because I don't know a whole lot about harvesters, but I do know a heck of a lot about the way machines work here. In the front there, where the header mounts, it seems to me, I've seen Rostelmash machines where that mount is lower. And it's hard to say. So I think the best practice, though, all that aside, the best practice is to use the tool that goes with the machine. That said, you could, I would say definitively that you could mix and match some things. Like, for instance, Bent, Massey Ferguson, for sure, because they're both part of like the same company, right? You could totally mix those two up. I would say you could swap anything between Fendt, Massey Ferguson, Case, New Holland, Kloss, for sure. You could mix any of those up. Probably John Deere as well. You could probably mix up the rest of them. The only one I wouldn't mix up with those, and when I'm talking about header to harvester connections, I guess I just wouldn't Rostelmash. So there's that. There's that rambling thing while we plant corn here. It's the only header I've ever had a problem with. I think I've only ever had a problem with those, because as I was going, I was like, well, let's see, whoops, I just raised my machine, didn't I? Yeah, I did. There we go. I was thinking of the ones that are part, which ones are part of like the same global branding, right? Which ones use the same tools, and then I started thinking, which ones have I mixed and matched, and then I started thinking, which ones do I have trouble with? I would say you're far and wide, you're pretty good putting any header with any combine, but be cautious with Rostelmash. Yeah, and of course, there's many other brands of harvesters as well. Gleaner, Fort Schritt, like, I don't know, the list goes on and on and on. I don't know. And when you go into those are going to be mods, and so of course any harvester that's a mod, be wary of the header connection. Then you got header companies that are not the same. You got header companies like Midwest or whatever, and those are pretty much going to go with any harvester. But yeah, then you get into territory of, I don't know. I don't know. Now I am rambling, kind of. But there's, yeah. Now it looks like on this field here, it looks like we're missing 2 rows of corn. Let's go down here and plant this. Nope. I swear I just lowered the machine. I swear I purposely lowered the machine, but dang, I didn't. There we go. Okay. Boy, sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I swear I lowered the machine. Like, I even remember pushing the button, and then I didn't. But there, we got that. So this field here is about done. And then I guess, yeah, we need to plant that the eastern field over there. So all that talk about harvesters, let's have a look at these. How much would this guy cost? This is the one we want to buy. How much would this cost to finance? Well, I know I don't have enough money. I can't, oh really, I can't even see? No, I can't even preview it. That's weird. I didn't know that. Okay. I can't even preview it unless we have enough money, but I don't know how much money it is, so... Well, hey, yeah, we won't need it till August. I don't think there's any cereal grain harvesting opportunities until August. Let's check our crop calendar. I mean, we got a long field here. We got time. We can check. Wheat, actually, September on this map. Oh, I'm glad I checked. This map has a custom crop calendar. August for canola, actually. Yeah, so August. Okay, August is this... Wait a second. That's planting. It's my bad. Hang on a second. This is a custom crop calendar. It's different. Yeah, let me have a look at this. Let's stop this machine here. Okay. Let's have a proper look at this. Actually, yeah, June. Yeah, I did a double take. I was like, wait a second. See, I was looking at canola, and the thing starts in August because that's what I was expecting to see. But then I realized that's planting. No, harvesting is the red bar. June on this map. This map has a custom calendar. It's not what I expected to see. We could be harvesting as early as June. Make a lot of money doing contracts. Cereal grains that we could harvest with our thing. June and then July for wheat. Yeah, when I said September, yeah, I tend to look at the green and not the red because in most every circumstance, green is good and red is bad. You know what I mean? Like traffic lights, right? Literally everything in the world, green is good, red is bad, right? So when I look at those bars, maybe do you guys do that too? I tend to look at only the green bar and ignore the red one. Yeah, and just I have to always catch myself on that. Point is, that's not tracking that. There we go. The point is, yeah, so the harvesting year starts here. Now I get all discombobulated in June. Yes, in June. So this month or next month, we'll have our harvester. So we can have it ready. And I'll keep an eye out here for a header. I'm not going to buy it. I should just cut that whole ramble out of the video. No, I'll leave it in because I think there's useful information in there, but I could just cut that all out and say, I'm just not going to put a Rostelmash header with a case harvester. I'll use any other brand, but not Rostelmash because I've had issues before. And the thing is, not the biggest deal in the world. No, but headers are not cheap. Headers are expensive. There are $200,000 harvester headers. It's not a mistake you want to make. You don't want to get the wrong one. Yeah. I think we'll start off with just a mild? Yeah, mild sized one. Yeah, very mild. You know, like 6 to 10 meters. For contract work, well, the thing is, for contract work, we'll just use the rented, use the borrowed equipment because we'll be using our machine. The rule of the homestead is that we can use borrowed equipment for contracts, but we have to use our machine. Well, our harvester, the one we want to buy, would be big enough to push any header, so we could use their headers with our machine. I like that rule. I think it's cool. And I think doing contracts with your own machinery, I think it builds character. Well, it's not builds character. I mean, that's not the way to say it, but it feels like you're doing the work more if it's your machine pulling it. Anyway, I've gone on long enough about all that. Guys, I'm going to get this corn planted. Thanks for sticking with me through all that. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end because we're almost at the end here. Tell me what you think down below about the harvester thing that I said. I think I said a lot of stuff, but I was right. That you really shouldn't mix harvester brands together. You might get unpredictable results, but you're usually good doing it. Just be careful when you do it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to get the rest of this corn planted because I just noticed it's been, well, I record for about an hour. 6 has been like my magic number. I record an hour and 6, and then it usually edits down to about 40 minutes. Well, I just noticed we just crossed the hour and 6, and I think this video is going to end up being longer because of my harvester talk there. So today's video might be 44 or 5 minutes. Anyway, so I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching so much. I got work to do here. and I'll catch up with you guys next time. I got to remember to put dirt down on that path over there, and we may or may not have a harvester. The next time you see the farm here, next episode, there's a lot more work to be done. We got to make some money for contracts before I can even look at the price of the harvester. So I'm going to get to this, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot, guys.